What is up, guys? MattWic here. We are back NHL 25 with our realistic rebuild of the Calgary Flames. And I'm going to tell you guys, I think the rebuild might be over. We have the prospect pool stacked. We have some options too in terms of some trades we're going to need to make this year. So here's our first line. Nazem Kadri still up there rocking that. Connor Zary has grown nicely to an 87. Then Tyler Hood, our young first round pick, second overall, looks like he's developing really nicely as well. Very good stats all the way around. Great skater, really good physicals as well for a guy who's 5'11", 180 pounds. So he looks very well rounded. Our big free agent acquisition was Lawson Krause. Added him just for that second line. He's got some good stats. I like the physicality. So now him and Nazem Kadri can go out there and kind of bang bodies a little bit for us and protect some of our younger players. We do have Peltier there on the second line for now. That's a very fluid position in this lineup. It's one I'm going to be looking to upgrade. Sharon Govich for now on that second line as well, centering that line. Huberdeau, we're giving him one more chance on that the third pairing there. We got Samuel Honzik, young center, and Matt Coronado, who's honestly been a bit of a disappointment. He's a guy who is an option to get moved out of the lineup. And then Colby Barlow, our young center, with Lucas Siona, another young player there with Martin Popsel, who had a pretty, I think he had a pretty decent year last year, which is why I kept him around. Yeah, 40 points. So it's a little bit of a disservice for him to be on that fourth line. We'll see if maybe he gets moved up to that second line instead of Peltier. Actually, that might actually be something that I do right off the bat, because Peltier had a really bad season last year. Let me take a look at his stats. Yeah, 29 points, -7. He was playing a lot of top minutes, so let's give that to Popsel just because he earned it a little bit more last year over Peltier. And then, like I said, too, with our defense. So this is one big thing. Our defense and our goaltending is set. Wait until you see our goaltending. That's going to be a big thing there. Thomas Harley, Mackenzie Weegar, very, very good first pairing defense setup there. Hunter Brustowicz, someone put it in the fucking comments in one of my other videos, and I forget it every time I load this up, so don't do it again. I'll go back and look at your old comment. Zane Perique there as well. He also did, someone did that one too. Hopefully I'm saying that one correct. I'll go look at it if I'm not. And then Poirier there on that third pairing. Nimella as well. He is a guy who is on very thin ice right now. Very good overall, 86 overall, but a -14, only 15 points last year, playing a lot of top power play time there. So you might notice that our former first overall pick defenseman from the last draft is not in the lineup. He is scratched right now, as is Joe Aginla. We are going to give the first crack to the guys that are already on the roster to see what they can do. But Coronado and Nimella, and maybe Poirier, depending on how Nimella plays, are on thin ice right now because we have two young guys who need to get into the lineup. And then goaltending, guys. We got a big question mark here. Dustin Wolf, 88 overall. Gabriel Daig, 87 overall. Jack Ivankovic, 86 overall in the AHL right now. So we've got quite the decision to make right now. I think what we're going to end up doing, and we're going to give him a shot as well, first month of the season, then we'll reevaluate. Dustin Wolf, I already have him on the trade block. He has played pretty well for us. He is listed as an elite goalie right now. So even though we've been a pretty bad team these last couple of years, he has played pretty well, in my opinion, for how bad the team was these last couple of years. These last 2 years, he's picked it up significantly in terms of the save percentage and the goals against. He had one really bad year that first year when we started out there. But I think, like I said, we're going to give him a chance, see what he can do. He's still only 26 years of age, but when you have two 20-year-old goaltenders who are 87 and 86 overall, you kind of want to play those guys, especially because those are guys that I myself drafted, so I don't have very many ties to Dustin Wolf at the moment. So we have a lot of trade bait. Like I said, Coronado's on there, so is Nimella and Poirier, and then Wolf is as well. So we'll see what happens in the first half of the season. I don't think this is a playoff roster as it sits right now. We do have really good goaltending, so that's one thing that's in our favor. So there's not going to be an off night for our goaltenders, hopefully, but it comes down to the same thing, like, are we going to be able to score enough goals with this team? We shall see. If not, like I said, I have some pretty good trade options in front of me so that we can upgrade this team, which, like I said, is what I think that we are going to end up doing. AHL, we'll go real quick. We have a lot of young players, a lot of really good young players. Loshko, Basha, they've all developed very nicely. Richie's another guy who's developed well. Tanner Howe, who we got from the Pittsburgh Penguins, is looking like a solid maybe third, fourth line center of the future. And then we got Fred Connor down here as well, who did have a little run in the NHL last year. Didn't really impress me though, so we're going to start him down here in the AHL. And then we got a lot of other guys throughout this roster who are going to be looking to vie for spots in that NHL lineup. We even got a couple, I mean, our whole team is like under 24 years old. And then like I showed earlier, our goaltending is just stacked as well. So we have the prospects in the system now. I feel comfortable if we need to trade some pieces away to actually bring some big pieces in. And then soon we'll have Kadri come off the books in 2 years, but he's only on a $7 million deal, so that's not too bad. Sharon Govich is on a sweet deal as well, 3 years there. The real killer is really just Jonathan Huberdeau making that $10.5 million. So we have him for 2 more years. I'll ask him before the season starts if he wants to waive his no trade clause. But guys like that are going to be something we're going to be looking to move on from. Harley's not on a bad deal. Mackenzie Weegar's on a great deal. We'll keep him for those 4 more years for sure, until he's 37 years of age. So I think the team is in a really good spot. Like I said, we're going to look to make some moves this season. No more just shipping everybody off and trading for draft picks. Now we're going to be moving on from those draft picks and looking to add players that we can put in the roster right now. Like I said, for that second, even the third line left wing role are going to be spots we're going to look to fill. Hopefully we can do that sooner rather than later, but let's get up to the training and see what we want to focus on. All right, so here we go, our chat with the coach, Saul Livingston. Let's see what he thinks our season goal is. Does he think this is a playoff team? He does. Okay, so just like last year, he thinks this is a playoff team. I'll agree again, just because I think that we are going to be able to upgrade this team enough to get us into the playoffs. And I've been thinking, what do we want to do for our growth? Our awarenesses look great, so I'm not worried about that at all right now. The thing I'm thinking about probably doing 3 times, holy crap, calm down there. The thing I'm thinking about doing is I think we're going to do goalie focused. Just because, I mean, Ivan Kovic's not on the roster. Maybe we send Wolf down and call him back up. So we can get those guys the growth. Decisions. Because I don't want anyone in the forward group to lose anything. So I think the best thing to do right now is just go for that goalie one, which we're going to focus on there. And then the decision is going to be, do we call up Ivan Kovic so he gets that growth as well? And I think that what we're going to do. And guys, I got to give you one update of what I did as well once this gets done simulating to our first game here in the preseason. So I was looking at our defense, and the reason I had Namella higher up in the lineup was because he didn't fit anywhere else. That was the only spot he didn't get a minus. So we're actually going to trade him before the season starts. Zane Perek is just way too good to sit down on that second line. I mean, look at the skating, look at the physical. The shooting is phenomenal. The puck skills are great. The defense is phenomenal as well. I want to get him as many minutes as I can. And then Scott Ellis is just another guy who I think is really good compared to what Namella was able to give us. So I think this is what we're going to rock with to start the season. I'm going to trade Namella for see if I can get a second line left winger and then go from there. And then, like I said, Coronado's on thin ice, but we are going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe Joe Aginla can get up to that 80 overall range before we slot him into the lineup. Let's actually take a quick peek at his stats as well, just to see. He's got good shooting, great offensive awareness, defensive awareness is good, puck skills we'd like a little better, phenomenal skating, and that physical needs to get a little bit higher, but he looks like a solid player right out of the gate. So we want to get him minutes as soon as possible. Maybe work him in there a few games in Coronado's spot, maybe do like a 5-on, 5-off kind of thing. We shall see. It's going to be an interesting season, guys. Let's go ahead. Let me get into it and see if I can find a trade for Namella real fast. All right, guys. So I think we found our trade. Owen Tippett was someone I was eyeing up prior to the season. I was just looking through the trade block, and he was someone that the Flyers had on there. They've been struggling the last couple of years. Still not a playoff team just yet. But he looks phenomenal. He would look like he would fit our second line perfectly. Now he is signed for 5 more years at $6.2 million, but he has no clauses, so that really doesn't scare me away. We'll be able to trade him if we need to, and like I said, I'm worried about goal scoring. This would be a perfect guy to score goals. We can move Lawson Krause over to the other side. That's not going to be a problem, and I think he would fit great with Sharon Govich and Lawson Krause on that second line. So let's see. I got Namella in there, who honestly, he has good stats, but he's just never put up points for us. He was a minus, 14 last year, 15 points. Like I said, playing on the power play is just not enough. He did score 9 goals in his first season with us, but it's always been a bit of a disappointment with him, and especially with our plethora of young defensemen. I feel like this is going to be a fine one to move on from. We do have a 3rd round pick in there as well to see if that would make the deal go through. Philadelphia Flyers, what do you say? Trade rejected. Okay, so let's just try to toss in a 4th as well. We have 2. We have the 2nd and the 4th from the Carolina Hurricanes. Can't remember what we gave up to get that, but let's see if that makes the deal go through. And it was, so easy peasy. I will take that. A defenseman that didn't make our roster, and a couple of late round picks. We still have that first just so we need it, but let's go ahead. I'm going to go in, change up the lines, see what we got, and we should be ready to roll. The new lines are set, and I gotta say they are looking nice. I'm loving that top 6 that we have with these guys now, and with Owen Tippett in the lineup as well. Makes me feel a lot better about the goal scoring potential on that 2nd line. And then our 3rd line, going to be a bit of a question mark, but like I said, Coronado's on the chopping block. Peltier played good last year, so if we need him, we can slot him up to that role there that Huberdeau is in. Defense is looking good as well. Like I said, I like this setup a lot better once I looked at it. We are very young, and I also called up our boy Jack Ivankovic. We are rocking 3 goaltenders right now. We're going to hold on to Wolf just until after the training is up. I want to see if he gets it, even though he is scratched right now. And then we do have Joe Iginla and Lucas Siona, who are also scratched in that spot right now. But guys, I think this is definitely a playoff team now at this point. I think we're going to be able to compete. Let's get up to the start of the season and see what we want to do with our goaltenders. All right, guys, the preseason is over. We are at the start of the year. Dustin Wolf did not play a single preseason game, and we went 7-0. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to rock with the young goaltenders that I myself drafted. Move on for Dustin Wolf for this trade that you see here. Hopefully it works. If not, we could always take off the 4th round pick. Maybe do a 7th or something like that this year. So Adam Sikora, who looks like a stud player. Only going to get better. Only 23 years of age. Very good puck skills. Solid defense. Good senses. Great skating. Good physical player as well. And a very nice shot on him as well. Probably play him, honestly, on the 4th or 3rd line. This would pretty much be our Lawson Krause replacement for next year, because we only signed Krause for 1 year, just because that's all he wanted, so that's all I was going to give him. Also, Sikora is a good Slovak boy, so that does get very near and dear to my heart, so I'm going to go ahead and see if this goes through. You might say I'm a little bit crazy. Dustin Wolf, 89 overall. Sucks we have to trade him in the West as well. Would have liked to trade him off to the East, but there was nobody who had a right or left winger who could play right wing that I wanted, and that was really the position I was looking to fill at the moment. So Dustin Wolf, I appreciate you for your services here, but it is time for us to move on, and I'm not worried too much about contracts, just because, I mean, look over at that salary cap on our side. We're barely above the league minimum right now, so we can pay guys when they are ready to get paid. We'll lock up our young guys quickly. Hopefully to long-term deals. We'll have to lock up Sikora next year. But let's see if this trade goes through. Like I said, you might think I'm crazy. We're going to rock with the youngest goaltending tandem in probably NHL history. 2 20-year-old goaltenders are going to be in the net for us this year. But let's go, boys. Will the trade go through, Anaheim Ducks? Please. Trade rejected. Okay, so let's take off the 4th, see if we can toss in, and I was looking at their goaltenders too, so this does kind of make sense. They have Vladar and Dostal, 84 and 83 overall, so maybe looking to get a little bit more out of their group, add a goaltender, a young goaltender at that, for the future. So let's see here, instead of that pick, let's go with a maybe 7th. What do you say about that trade? It looks still a little bit too much on our side, so let's just take off the 7th, see if that goes through. Trade rejected. All right, let's see if we can maybe pick up the Rangers' 2nd round pick this year. Looks like it has a little bit less value. Maybe then toss on a 4th round pick for next year. I'm just being a little greedy here. Trade rejected. All right, fine. You twisted my arm hard enough. Let's see if this goes through. Trade rejected again. Okay, so they really don't want to give me that pick. Let's see if we can go for maybe a 3rd next year. They want to give it up, a 3rd and a 4th. Let's see, value-wise, trade accepted. Okay, I will take that. Good enough for me. Dustin Wolf, thank you for your time here. Adam Sikora, welcome to the team. Well, not the start we wanted to have to the season. 3 months in so far, and we sit last place in the Pacific. I don't know why it slipped my mind. Anaheim is in the Pacific, so we traded Dustin Wolf to an inter-division rival. I think the fans are calling for the GM's head right now. I'm gonna just say that. They aren't being nice to me on social media, that is for sure. So a disappointing start to the season. You'll see there, Gabriel Daig is absolutely struggling right now. Ivan Kovic's not playing too bad. And let's take a look at the stats right now. I've been shuffling the lines like a madman. Actually, let's go in there. And I can show you guys what I have done. The lines look very different than what they did at the start of the season. I've been juggling things around all over the place, trying to find any kind of fix that we can. Jonathan Huberdeau on a bit of a resurgence right now. 5 goals, 19 assists, and a +8. So I have him up on that first line to see what he can get done. I just changed up the lines just now just to see if we can get something going here. Connor Zary, solid season for him right now as well. 27 points, a -4 though, so we'd like to see that improve. Owen Tippett working his way up to that first line as well. Yegor Sharangovich, a guy who's been a little bit of a disappointment up to this point. I do notice he has 70 on the faceoffs. I haven't checked his faceoff rating so far this year, but I moved him off of that faceoff roll. 45%, not terrible, but not what we would hope for. Right now, we have Nazem Kadri. He's still putting up points for us. And one thing you'll notice as I go through the lines is we're getting a lot of guys scoring goals. We're only 35 games in, and we almost have a lot of 20-goal scorers at this point right now. Tyler Hood, he's still struggling. -10 right now, which is a little bit surprising for how good his stats look, but this is what he did last year as well. So if we go back over and take a look at him, he finishes a -25 his first year in the NHL. Lawson Krause also, I mean, he's a guy we can pretty much play anywhere in the lineup with him being a power forward, so we just need to find the right mix right now at this point. Hanzik, not a terrible season for just a 23-year-old, 81 overall right now, -3. You'd like to see that get a little bit better. Fleury doesn't think that's great, but that is what it is. Matt Coronado having himself a solid year right now, 10 goals and 11 assists and a +8, so maybe he is someone we can look to maybe move up to that second line role. Peltier, solid with what he is doing with the minutes that he's getting. Colby Barlow, we recently put back into the lineup. We did have him scratched for a little bit, and Adam Sikora only playing 8 minutes a night and not doing a ton with it, but like I said, it just really is what it is. Let's actually do that to get the +4. Tyler Hood, you need to play some less minutes maybe, but I don't know what's going on, but you're struggling right now this season. Defensively, we've mixed things up just a little bit, so Harley and Uyghur are playing solid enough on that first line. You'd like to see a little bit more point production maybe out of Uyghur, but 15 assists from Harley, I'm not too upset about that. Poirier and Perek we are going to have there on the second pairing. He had a struggling first half of the season, but he has picked it up. And as you saw there, Brustwick's there. Not the best right now. -10. Scott Ellis in his first year, 5 goals, 9 assists so far, so not the worst there from him either, but we are going to bump down that time on the ice just to see if we can get maybe more out of somebody else, but -10 for Brustwick's there, not the best. And then goaltending wise, we'll take a look there. Daig, got to break out of that. Actually did jump up to an 87. Ivan Kovic down to an 86. So Daig is taking over more of the minutes now, but he is not playing great. Ivan Kovic, I mean, he played 26 games so far, only 10 wins, but he's got solid stats. So I don't know what's going on right now. I just don't think we're playing enough defense, and it might be because we have a ton of snipers now in the roster. I may have overcompensated a little bit. So guys, this is a bit of a struggle right now. Let me get up to the trade deadline. We'll see what we do. We might end the video there, and I might take some of your opinions, but let's get up to that deadline and see what we're looking at. Oh, guys, it has been quite the year. I think we might fire our head coach for thinking this is a playoff team and not getting us there in back-to-back years. But we are going to end the video at this point in the season before the trade deadline. Let me know what we should do. Let's take a quick look at the points that guys have been putting up. It's been a struggle so far, boys. I mean, I don't know what to do anymore with this team. We've been trying everything. I've tried all the line combinations. I even tried the coach best lines, and nothing seems to be working right now. Nazem Kadri at 49 points, and so is Zary up there as the team leaders. I mean, if you look at goals, I mean, we're getting goals. To a point. Actually, no, we're not really. It's not really as good as I was hoping it would be. Tyler Hood's been a bit of a disappointment this year with only 19. Coronado's been a nice surprise. 15 goals, 18 assists, and a +10 for him. He's somehow figuring it out, but the rest of the team cannot. In terms of our back half, I mean, you see Bruswick's there, still struggling. Sakura, he's been in and out of the lineup a little bit. One trade I did make already was Pospisil. I did trade him away just because we just don't have a spot for him in the lineup, and he wasn't playing well after the coach put him in either. So I traded him, I believe, to New Jersey for a third this year and a fourth next year. So at least we got some picks out of that for a player we didn't really need anymore, and that wasn't really on my my good side. Thomas Harley, a bit disappointing, only 27 points up to this part in the season. I mean, Ginla, we put him in for 6 games, didn't do anything. It was a +1, but no points, no assists, so he's still looking for his career first. And then in terms of goal, I mean, they're not playing bad. The stats look really bad, especially for Ivan Kovic. But I mean, they both have 905 save percentages, which isn't horrible. It's not like we're getting blown out in these games. We're losing games mostly by like 1 goal whenever we do. The goals allowed average, our goals against average isn't great either for either of these two guys. But like I said, the save percentage is kind of there. So I think we're just getting filled with holes in terms of maybe our play style. I'm just going to hope that's going to be what it is. But I think what we're going to do before the next episode, we're going to fire the coach, find a new one, see if we can maybe promote an interim head coach or something like that if someone has a good style. But guys, let me know what changes we should make. Lawson Krause has been a bit of a disappointment this year. 10 goals, 16 assists. We look to maybe trade him at the deadline and get Joe Aginla some more reps. I mean, I thought this was a good team. I thought this was a good team. They're going to be calling for my head up in Calgary right now, especially for trading Dustin Wolf within the division. Now, I will say we've been playing well against Anaheim when we do go up against them. That's the one team we've been playing well against. But right now, guys, we are last place in the entire NHL. 50 points. We're in last place by 5 points right now. So we thought the tank was over. We said this was our year. It was not. So like I said, a disappointing year so far for the boys. 96 points for Austin Matthews in 63 games. Kucherov and Gensel up there as well. Goals for per game. I think that's where it is. Look at that. 29th in the league right now. So we aren't scoring. We thought we brought in maybe enough goal scorers to get it done, but I guess we didn't do enough. Guys, let me know in the comments below what we should do coming up to this point. Do we start selling guys off? Like I said, definitely going to make the coaching change. And then I guess we just go from there at this point. I was hoping we'd be in a better spot, maybe make the playoffs this year and get a playoff episode in. But guys, that's the end of this one. Hope you enjoyed. Like I said, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to leave a like on the video. I need it right now because, like I said, they're out for my job right now. They want me gone. And make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up with this series and all the other ones I'm doing on NHL 25. But I appreciate it, boys. Thank you for watching. That's the end of this one. Peace.